I got you into a Remington party. What's my thanks? It's on the hallway carpet. I got paid in puke. Lick it up, baby. I got paid in puke.
Welcome to Paid in Puke, a podcast where three women with names discuss movies about something other than a man. Paid in Puke is hosted by Annie Malone, Christina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. It's also a spoiler-filled free-for-all. You've been warned. On today's episode, we're talking about Susan Seidelman's 1987 comedy, Making Mr. Right.
Yeah.
Starring Anne Magnuson, Glenn Headley, and Laurie Metcalf. And it was written by Floyd Byers and Laurie Frank, who are two of Susan Seidelman's friends.
Oh, that's nice.
Morning, Pinky. Breakfast as usual. And get me a Cosmopolitan, a Glamour, a New Woman, Complete Woman, Working Woman, and Modern Wrestler.
You got it.
Frankie Stone's got it all. A fulfilling job.
Harold's group is still waiting on the promo copy. Giraldi likes the slogan, but he wants to delete the word small. He thinks it's a turnoff.
An understanding mother.
You could have married the most eligible bachelor in all of Miami if you'd played your cards right.
A good friend.
Frankie, I always thought Steve was about the best you were gonna do.
She had only one problem. Finding the right guy.
Miss Stone, the Ulysses android is an amazing piece of equipment.
I'm not used to promoting hardware, Doctor. I promote people.
But she was about to take a step in the right direction.
My God, he looks like you.
What did you think he'd look like? An erector set?
Making Mr. Right. He was designed for space.
Guess that means you don't cook, huh?
But his heart was set on Earth.
I think you're the most attractive woman I know.
I'm the only woman you know.
What was that?
A kiss.
I love you, Jeff.
What is that woman teaching you?
We were making love and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever felt in my entire life.
Some minor activity occurs in the medulla and wham, they think they're in love.
You just made it with my android. Ew.
Ulysses, you have a great future in space. You'll go down in the history books. You're to be envied. I don't want to be envied. I want to be loved.
From the director of Desperately Seeking Susan, Making Mr. Right.
I'm Jessica Baxter.
I'm Annie Malone.
I'm Christina Barr.
In conjunction with the Blu-ray release of Making Mr. Right, our Pukettes got the thrilling opportunity to speak with the legendary multi-hyphenate talent that is Anne Magnuson. You'll know it's a clip from our interview when you hear a snippet of Anne's cover of David Bowie's Moon Age Daydream. Like so.
A space invader with an itch.
And now, let's talk about Making Mr. Right with Anne Magnuson. Making Mr. Right follows Frankie Stone, played by Magnuson, a successful publicist hired to teach an android how to be more human for the sake of congressional funding, I guess.
Yes, that is also not even very clear.
Yes.
What she's supposed to do.
They're like, we need your help. And she's like, okay, here's how I can help. And they're like, sounds great.
What's more important, we're losing our funding in Congress. That's why we came here. We need to make people see how important this project is. Miss Stone, the Ulysses android is an amazing piece of equipment.
Yeah, but I'm not used to promoting hardware, Doctor. I promote people. Politicians, businessmen, the occasional rock star.
Only to become romantically entangled with this android, played by John Malkovich in a dual role. Wow, what a wacky dual role.
Yeah.
This is a very fashion-forward, very 80s, very fun, female-gazy movie with hot cars and a great soundtrack by the real genius guy, Chaz Jankel. I was very impressed with myself that I recognized. I was like, this sounds like the Real Genius score. And then I looked it up.
Oh, wow.
Good stuff. Good 80s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is a deep cut, I think. Although it is getting a re-release. March 7th, 2023. With director commentary and Anne Magnuson will also do commentary.
Yeah, I want to hear her
I will
commentary.
buy that DVD and listen to the commentary. Faux show. Well, and also a lot of times you buy DVDs, it comes with a code to have it digitally too. So
It sure
you can
does.
have everything.
You can
Yeah.
have
I didn't know
all
that.
these.
Yeah.
Where did Paid and Puke title come from?
It comes from the movie Heathers.
Okay. Did they remake it?
They did, but we're original purists for sure.
I remember seeing the original in theaters, and I liked it. Christian Slater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder.
Right. I remember it was very fun.
We were just looking for a way to set our Talking About Movies podcast apart from all the other Talking About Movies podcasts.
Oh, well, it definitely does that. You know what? In show business, you generally are paid in puke on some metaphoric level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely felt meaningful in that way, especially because we talk about female-driven narratives, and sometimes it does feel like you're being paid in puke with the female-driven stories we get.
Yeah, even the good ones, there's some backlash or some fuckery involved. Will never end. Well, maybe in some ideal metaverse, right? I pulled out all this Making Mr. Right stuff that I had pulled out months ago, last year, when Susan Seidelman and I did the commentary for this new Blu-ray that's coming out on Kino Lorber. And I'm going to have DVDs for sale on my website. Signed and numbered. No, not numbered.
Can you tell us about your experience on Making Mr. Right and how it all came together?
Well, it came together when I was called in to audition for the part that Glenn Headley played.
Oh.
I knew Susan Seidelman from doing Desperately Seeking Susan, and she had seen my performances all over town in different clubs and galleries and even museums, and Susan knew of me that way, and I was cast in Desperately Seeking Susan. Well, you know, I actually auditioned to play Madonna's friend. There are some good pictures that Susan found. She found the audition tape, but it's so degraded, but she grabbed some screen grabs. So around the time of the Making Mr. Right DVD, whatever, you don't call it a premiere, what do you call it, a launch, but it drops. I will post those on my Instagram, but they're pretty funny. I completely forgot about the wacky shit I did for that audition. So I didn't get that part, but that was the cameo as the cigarette girl. And got to know Susan and knew Risa Brayman. She took my job when I quit Ensemble Studio Theater. And Billy Hopkins was somebody I knew because he went to Denison University that I went to. So Billy and Risa did a lot of the casting for the more interesting films that were going on at that time. And I got called in to read for what was eventually became the Glenn Headley part, Trish, and I really wanted that one. So I was surprised when I got the call to come in and read for the main part. I thought, oh, this is never going to happen. I saw very established actresses coming and going from that audition building.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, no, but I'll do it, you know. It was shocking that I got the part, so we went to Miami and shot it there, and the rest is history.
It's not shocking to us that you got the part. You're so magnetic in that role.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Well, in the commentary, Susan said, I cast you because of your persona, the way I cast Madonna and Richard Hell. But that makes it sound like I wasn't acting, and I was. So that was not playing me. I mean, I'm much more animated and goofier than that character. So it was very challenging for me to strip all that away and do less and less and less. I was very jealous of Laurie Metcalf when I saw the film. I thought, that's the part I want to do, you know. Goofy, and so when I got on to Anything But Love, I got to really play that up, that more daffy part of me, which is fun, you know. I was more the straight person in Making Mr. Right, and believe me, I am so grateful for that part. In retrospect, I had a different kind of experience than the people at Steppenwolf, but it was just as valid. Maybe more so because, you know, I was fighting people on stage. And I did my heavy metal band, but then I do the folk band and created my own repertory company with myself and my friends, and we did things every night. We had created a whole vaudeville circuit downtown at the Pyramid Club, Danceteria, made videos, and I'd done so much stuff before getting into Making Mr. Right. And I was 30 when that movie came out, and I remember looking for an agent, a bona fide, you know, Hollywood agent. He said, well, 30's a little old, it's better if you started at 19.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I started at 8.
What do y'all think of this movie?
I think it is timely to have a re-release because I was noticing, like, why do we always love these person falls in love with robot? Why is that such a tried and true trope for so long,
Yeah.
That's so curious to me.
I mean, there's obviously more serious versions of the robots are people, or robots are more human than people idea.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton. Well, I saw Weird Science a bunch of times when I was a kid, and that was very
I don't think
teenage
she's
boy.
a robot.
She's not?
She's not real. They created her.
Yeah. But isn't she made of flesh? I don't know. There's obviously some weird stuff going on with Ulysses. He eats. He needs to eat.
Right.
He has a working dog.
Apparently has all the same needs that a human would have in space for 7 years because you can just swap it, I mean, even like in Blade Runner, the replicants are people.
Yeah.
Or are they?
I think that's what they're getting at. I love to say robots are people. Her explored that. Ex Machina.
That's what I was thinking was her.
Westworld. Some things more successful than others thematically.
I was thinking about Westworld watching this because with the AI concept, I guess, the robot starts becoming so advanced that like emotions come in and then you have their own memories and he stopped caring about space and just cared about Frankie and fell in love with her. And
that was never his dream.
It's like it's like the machines that we make for a certain purpose ultimately become so advanced that they I don't know.
Right. Did you see Ex Machina?
I saw, yeah. I didn't see Blade Runner. I need to see it.
Yeah.
I like Blade Runner and I like Blade Runner 2049.
They're both really good.
They
hold up to like multiple viewings too.
Yeah. Except for Jared Leto.
No. Okay.
But
he's very pretty at least. No, I do not care for Jared Leto. That movie I only saw once. I would see it again. But the original Blade Runner I've seen a lot. And I feel like I still every time needs something explained. Okay, but like, what's the unicorn meter?
It's interesting. It's played for laughs, but there is the Westworld theme. It's almost like Jeff doesn't even really know why he built the robot exactly. He's like, we could use it for all sorts of useful things, like bomb detonation and the handling chemicals.
Ulysses is the closest thing to man himself. The future applications for such an android are virtually infinite. Handling hazardous chemicals, detecting radiation, disarming explosives, fighting fires, test piloting new aircrafts, and, of course, exploring space.
But then it's like, are you trying to market it to families? Or are you trying to market it for labor, dangerous labor, and going to space? It's like you just built this one robot.
I also think just about timeliness. Like, it's not about being in love with the robot, but also I felt like Megan has some parallels with it because it's about, like, creating a robot that then gets out of your control. Like, that's also Ex Machina. Like, you created this, but you made it too sophisticated and then you can't control it anymore.
Yeah, and the implications of, like, whether or not you should control it. I mean, I guess you'd have to look at it from an allegorical standpoint because it doesn't hold up to scrutiny.
Right. That's all right. If we're going to go into hot probs.
Shut up. Hot probs is on.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Whatever he is, it, like, makes no sense. Why does he eat? Why does this thing need to eat? Like, you can take its head off and put it back on. That makes no sense. Like his whole
there's no
deal.
Esophagus going. I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson would hate this movie.
If they're just gonna shoot him into space, why bother making him so human-like?
Yeah.
You're just wanting to do like mechanical tasks.
The eating thing especially is like a bad call.
You certainly have quite an appetite.
Yes, I never get food with so many colors.
What do you usually eat, Jeff?
Phenodiethylene in an amino acid base.
Guess that means you don't cook.
You're just setting yourself up for a mess.
Why do you want a machine to create?
Even if it's just paste that gives you all the nutrients, like why even do that?
Right. Or if it's like how a car needs gas or something. The logistics make no sense.
Yeah.
This movie does not hold up under scrutiny at all.
But it is stylistically amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it is. It's very charming and fun. I mean, all right, let me look at what I wrote down.
I do love Frankie so much and want her to live, which is why one of my hot probs is she needs to look both ways before she crosses the street.
Yes.
My God,
she's so reckless.
Literally almost gets hit by a car twice. And that's just in the short time we know her. Who knows how she lives her daily life. It seems like she's always late for things, which, you know, if you're going to be late, then don't rush.
This is what I have a couple times. People are supposed to be into Ulysses and into, is it Steve or Jeff? The other, that's John Malkovich.
Jeff.
Yeah, right. Why didn't they get, like, an actually good-looking guy with, like, normal hair? You know? Why is anyone... It's like, all these women have, like, such great looks. They all have, like, very distinctive looks and styles, which I love. Why are they all into this guy with the terrible hair who's just John Malkovich?
I wondered if John Malkovich, he's got blue eyes and Ken, like, blonde hair. Is he really blonde, or...?
I think he might have, like, dirty blonde hair naturally, but that's not his hair. That's a wig. It's gotta be.
That's a wig.
So I don't know. Maybe it's like because they were trying to go with someone who looked quite human, but then it's really hard to play off the attractive, irresistible robot thing. Or irresistible scientist.
Right.
I did not like Jeff.
Jeff sucks.
He sucked. And I didn't see why Sandra was so obsessed with him.
Guess you didn't see me back there, huh?
Oh, Sandra.
I told you to call me Sandy. We're still friends, aren't we? I take the blame for everything that happened the other night, but you know what they say, getting started's the hardest part.
I've got a lot of work to do.
And I'm the carefree type. No pressures, no demands, anything for a laugh. We're still on for tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, great. So, it's a date.
He's like eating the protein paste or whatever at the wedding. You know, he's just like one of those feelings, people.
What are you eating?
Protein paste. Don't test it, please. I developed it specifically for the Ulysses project. One tube contains all the nutrients we required for a 4-week period.
Food, all of these unnecessary things. You know, like he just seems like the
Like he's
Ted
more
Bro
robot
drinking
than,
Soylent.
I guess he's supposed to be more robot than the actual robot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely what they're getting at. But it makes sense to me that Trish would be into him because she made it with Ulysses. That's why she's into him. Because he looks just like him, and she's like, I wonder what else they have in common. But yeah, Sandra, what is going on with you, Sandy girl? I mean, if you have to date someone from work, that can't be the best
Right,
option.
that's what the and also when Frankie invites him to the wedding, it's like, why don't they know any other men, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in this field,
they
right?
kind of try to make that make sense by her mom being like, we heard you're bringing this doctor to the wedding.
But Steve's mother said Steve said you had a date for the wedding, dear.
I don't know what Steve's talking about.
Well, according to Steve's mother, he's not much to look at, but I heard he was some sort of doctor. We're all dying to meet him.
Mom, look, I told you I'm coming alone.
Now, darling, you are going to be able to dig up somebody, aren't you? You don't want Steve to see you there all alone, do you, dear?
And so she's like, all right. I feel like that conversation is reason for her to ask him to go, even though he's already made it very clear he's not interested in pursuing a romantic relationship with her.
What are you doing?
Shh, you're my new boyfriend.
Miss Stone, if I have unwittingly led you on, I sincerely apologize.
Don't flatter yourself. I hate men.
You might have to look outside South Florida, but be worth it. I don't know. Steve's such a drip, too.
There's gotta be better, right?
Frankie she's a successful working woman. She's a big publicist. The men in the movie, they would touch her on the arm and stuff.
In the future, making love will no longer be necessary for the creation of life. It can all be done far more efficiently in the lab.
How romantic.
Of course, I myself prefer the old-fashioned way.
I mean, I feel like that was very intentional. I liked that. She's teaching Ulysses. There's a whole scene where she's like, you have to ask someone before you touch them.
You know, Ulysses, you can't just go grabbing people's feet like that.
Why not?
You see, there are rules for social behavior, and, well, relationships between people develop in stages, and to get physical with someone, you have to get to know them first. Now, if you don't mind, had a very long day and I'd like to get some sleep. Good night, Ulysses.
Good night.
She's like teaching him consent, which is something that real men that she knows don't have any boundaries for. I thought that was an interesting juxtaposition.
Yeah.
She's like, that's like making Mr. Right. It's like, there is no real man that will be satisfying. I have to create them.
Yeah, like in a work situation, the men don't treat her respectfully, you know? And I don't know, I guess I'm thinking about working in the 80s in a work situation for women. It just looked like it really sucked, you know?
I was wondering who her partner is, because, like, when she walks in, it says above the reception desk, Stone and Cone. And it's like, where's Cone? And then how can she be worried about losing her job if she owns the business?
And, like, she's so successful, but she still feels like she needs to bring a guy to the wedding, because, like, her...
Was Cone Polly Draper?
No.
That's not, no?
She said that was her assistant.
Oh, I don't know. Who's Cone?
Who's Cone?
Wow.
We never meet Cone.
Like, and Hot Prop still related to the Sandy stuff. When she's on the date with Ulysses, but she thinks it's just, why can't I remember? Jeff. Okay, she thinks it's Jeff. And, like, it's pretty funny, but sad, you know, when she's, thinks he's buying her the earrings.
I have a confession to make. I'm really just an old-fashioned girl, and getting a gift from a man really means a lot to me.
Yes, that'll be $139.56 with the tax. Would you like to pay with credit card, cash, or check? Sir. Sir.
Jeff, the money.
I don't have any.
Huh? That's okay. I don't mind, really. It's just so beautiful. You take American Express.
It's like doing this nice balance of that, like a funny sad, but then when he squirts a ketchup on her white dress,
yeah, that
then
was
it's
awful.
just a bummer, you know?
It really is.
Feels she deserves better than what she gets in this movie, you know?
Well, I think I've had about enough fun for one night. My cash is gone and my credit card's getting a little thin. Why don't we just go home?
Could you take me?
You don't have your car.
No.
Okay? Where do you want to go?
Frankie Stone's? You'll like her.
Oh, no, I won't.
I mean, I almost feel like Laurie Metcalf is too good of an actor to make that be funny.
Yeah.
Her face and, like, the way her face falls and how angry she is when she's like, you didn't even bring your car. It's too good. I'm like, I can't laugh at this. I'm so sad for you.
Yeah. It definitely stopped
being
being amusing. For me, it was the ketchup on the dress that just like went over the line where it's like, okay, this is just a bummer now.
Yeah. And she keeps talking about money, so obviously she's not rich. She's like, I'm broke.
She just bought that dress, you know?
I just got the dress. I got the earrings that I wasn't even going to buy because they were too expensive.
Right.
And then she goes to the diner and he orders all this food. I feel like she gets the Jell-O because she, like, can't afford anything else.
She's like, this date is bleeding me dry.
Ugh, it's very sad. I don't like that part.
Yeah.
I get really upset for her.
I love her great style, like her cute dresses and her
so
like
cute.
very done hairdo. You know? She looks like a cartoon character, kind of like.
She does. I love her run. She's
Yeah.
she runs like a Muppet. It's really funny. She's so great. Yeah, justice for Sandy. John Malkovich's wig sucks. But, like, it's supposed to be funny, I guess. Like, it's fake hair, but it's modeled after the hair on Jeff's head. It's really confusing.
Yeah,
it's a confusing situation. It does seem like they put so much time and effort into the women looking amazing.
Right.
And then they're like, I don't know, dude. It's just
And like every
whatever.
woman has her own special style, which is just amazing.
Yeah.
I love the
They really
styling of the
do it.
women in this movie. It's so great.
So good. I gotta say, another hot prop, fashion prop is Dr. Ramdas's short sleeve.
Oh God,
that was
so
really
upsetting.
bad.
Ooh.
I mean, I know it's
Can't
hot in
even look
Florida,
at it.
but
I know.
that was
Can't
a
even look
crime
at
of fashion.
It's very bad.
You would have looked classier wearing like a white tank top in that. If you're hot,
So
that's
bad. Yeah.
no. Oh, and then also Frankie litters a little bit, which is not great.
Oh yeah.
And very dangerous driving. I mean,
Don't like a litter bug. Yeah. Yeah. Driving a clutch barefoot. That's crazy. I mean, driving barefoot in general, I think is crazy. But
and like putting on mascara while the car is moving. No, death wish. I think she's gonna death
just
wish.
get up a little earlier if you're that late, you know.
Or do it all real quick when you get to the parking lot. No. It's too dangerous.
No.
I loved her
Frankie.
car though. The red phone and the dashboard.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like that was like
Everything
she's a
is red,
high-powered.
the red interior,
Yeah,
and
red.
exterior, and the phone, and the nails, and the lipstick, and And the blotter, like the little envelope that she blots her lipstick on, that's so cute. It just looks like $1 million, this movie.
Yeah.
But another problem I have is I don't understand the security on the lab.
Just put your hand. I don't know if it's security or if it's just that's how you open the door. You know, like the handicap automatic door open that you just push the thing. I think it's just that's how the door opens. You put your hand on it.
It looks so high tech. Like there's got to be security.
I assume there's security because they have cameras everywhere, as if they're concerned about unsavories getting in around or whatever. But it's very easy for the robot, the top secret robot, to escape.
Do you think the conceit of it was like a lot of the men characters, they're kind of suck basically, and it takes this robot to be trained to actually listen? There was this line where she's like, "Don't flatter yourself, I hate men."
Yeah.
Don't flatter yourself. I hate men.
And I thought that was so telling.
Yeah. And that they showed so much from Donahue where it was talking about how there's like no men out there, you know.
Right, yeah.
They showed a lot.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Are you waiting for Mr. Right? Is that a trap? Does Mr. Right exist?
Right.
One of the things is that you can't sit around on your hoopy-doopy waiting for Mr. Right to come.
She's not doing that.
Yeah, I know, but you've got to get out there and you've got to let yourself be known. You've got to say, here I am and I'm worthwhile. I think a lot of it depends on your own image of yourself. If you sit home and turn on the television set, don't expect anything to happen. Get out there and say, look at me, I'm gorgeous.
Are you looking for Mr. Right? Yes, but isn't that a trap? Is there such a person?
Frankie really, she seems like she's confident, and I don't know if they were trying to portray her as lovelorn or anything, but I didn't really feel like that.
She wants someone who's not a bummer to date, really.
Yeah.
Like, Steve's a bummer. Jeff's definitely a bummer. Dawn is a bummer. It's like real men are bummers. Like,
That's
I do
true.
appreciate that as a thesis of the 80s especially. I mean, at least if the movies, I was not old enough to date in the 80s, but if the movies are any indication, it was definitely filled with a bunch of douchebags.
Well,
like the dating pool was all douchey dudes.
Yeah.
It's incredible that I was given the opportunity to star in this film and play a nuanced working woman that wasn't, you know, the bitch boss or the object of derision on some level, you know?
Right.
She was very sensitive to having a female protagonist that certainly did not fall into the same tropes of movie making at that period of time as much, you know, the mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
Which is maybe why it wasn't a big hit. Like the people preferred Mannequin or something. But it doesn't matter. I think it holds up. I watched it last year for the first time in years when Susan had reached out to me and told me about the Kino Lorber Blu-ray and doing the commentary. I was very charmed by it, and I told her, I think this is really good. And we had a really good time revisiting it. And she did talk about the persona thing. I didn't really get into any details in the commentary so much. Every actor has a persona they bring to a role, but I don't think that was me in that part.
I like that this movie, it wasn't like a rom-com-y kind of like, oh, I'm just looking for that one or whatever. I just appreciated that about the movie.
I feel like they established that if you look at her, you'll be like, she's got it all together because she's a successful business owner and, you know, she drives a hot car. And although they're trying to say that that's a beater car, the Corvair, the 64 Corvair, but it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, it does have trouble starting when
it
she starts out, but
it's not like it's a dump of a car.
Yeah. Well, I feel like when it's established, like, I love the girl talk that she and Trish have, like when Trish first gets there.
You know, Frankie, being single again could be really great. I mean, you could go wherever you wanted, sleep with whoever you wanted, have absolutely incredible sex with strangers. Like, I've never made it with a bodybuilder, have you? Or an acrobat? How about a car mechanic? A sweaty one. I've never even tried a menage a trois, have you?
With Steve? Oh, God, it was hard enough to get him alone.
Oh.
And even then, it wasn't hard enough.
You know, how basically being single is just your opportunity to fuck around, you know?
Yes.
Like, a lot of the spirit is just not, like, desperate to get married or something.
Right.
Wanting to have some fun.
Yeah.
You know? Trisha's so funny.
Yeah, it's interesting and how her mom is, like, anti-wedding, too.
Well, you two look adorable. Who's getting married here, huh? The wrong person. You could have married the most eligible bachelor in all of Miami if you played your cards right, and your sister here insists on marrying a busboy.
Hector and I are in love, Mom.
What's love got to do with it? Frankie and Steve had a relationship. It didn't work out. Did they have to go through a horrendous divorce like me? No. They were sensible. They parted as friends.
There are little mixed messages because she's like, you should be the one getting married, but then it's like, but I'm so glad you didn't because I got divorced and it was terrible.
Right. Well, I think
the divorce was terrible.
Yeah, that was a little bit mixed. But I think maybe the thing of like, oh, it should be her getting married. It's like, one, I think it's like she doesn't like the fiance of the sister, or that it was really fast and they're younger. I feel like that was more the sense like, if one of you's getting married, it should be the older one, you know?
Mm-hmm. It was like all about the romance with her sister and fiance. And Frankie's too practical for romance, and she still wants, you know, she wants something. She gets lonely with her frusenglage. There's only so much frusenglage you can eat.
I have never had that before. Was that like a big thing?
It didn't, yeah. When we watched this, whenever it was, a couple months ago, we ended up doing a little deep dive into frusenglage. Yeah, it was just for a little while. It was like a response to Haagen-Dazs. That's when Haagen-Dazs first became really popular. And then it was like this made up, also Scandinavian sounding ice cream.
Frusenglage.
Frusenglage.
Frusenglage. The ice cream under the dome. So creamy, so delicious, so rewarding.
And we found some like insane commercials. I was like, are these fan-made? Someone would come home and the person would be like, I ate all the Frusenglage, and then...
And now, a message from Frusenglage.
Sending him home.
I ate all the Frusenglage.
Say what?
I ate all the Frusenglage.
Oh, you did?
And I do it again.
Frusenglage. It's to die for.
Would they kill them or something? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I think there must have been some sort of campaign where it was like, make your own commercial.
I think that's what it was.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It was very weird. But yeah, it was just around for a little bit. Like, it's an accidental time capsule in this movie that she has Frusenglage.
Okay, any other hot probs?
No, I think we got it.
Next call.
Freak out.
There were so many magical experiences that I associate with doing that film. And even when I was looking through all this stuff that I pulled out before we started to talk, photographs of me and Ben Masters, and Ben, I just found out a few weeks ago that he died. Mm-hmm. And I was so hoping that when this Blu-ray came out that there might be a good way to reach out and say, hey, I really loved working with you on this. So time is taking away a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No time to waste, you know.
Alright, well, let's talk about what we liked, which obviously we talked about the fashion.
Oh my gosh,
We didn't talk about Trish's fashion.
Trish's fashion in the show. She's just like lying around in this lip that like barely covers her ass, like mostly does not.
Lounging.
She's so right.
Especially
sometimes
like
with the garters.
Yeah. Especially in contrast with Frankie's man-cut pajamas that are, I mean, she looks adorable in them, obviously. One of you is looking comfortable and the other one is like what a man imagines a woman is doing when they're lounging around.
Hey,
like she's literally
her
putting
ass is
on
showing
lipstick
all the
while
time.
she's watching the show. Like, why are you doing this right now?
I love when she crosses the woman on the soap opera's face off
Yeah,
with the
so
lipstick
funny.
on the screen. That was so funny. And her travel bag with
Her luggage,
airplane
bag,
spirits, the glasses. She's just like ready to make a nice cocktail.
Cocktail suitcase.
Oh, and then the other thing was Frankie has always got her portable Rolodex around
her bracelet. Her Rolodex bracelet. That's really cool.
I thought it was just like she took it off her desk and put the metal thing around her arm or something. I was just like, wow, I remember those things.
Keep your electric eye on me, babe.
Susan casting me in that film was such a privilege to be able to play a sassy working woman. I would like her to have been a little sassier, but that's okay. It worked out fine.
fine. Oh, more than fine.
It's really exciting for me to have younger people discover it and enjoy it. I don't think it was really appreciated at the time it came out, and now it's finding this other audience, or has found another audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful. See, it's worth getting old to see these things. Yeah, so tell me your impressions of the film.
We had a great time watching it. We loved like the style, like your amazing little jackets, and especially every woman character has her own style. Like we loved Laurie Metcalf's look. It was adorable.
Yes, she was great.
Yeah.
I loved all the classic cars. I thought it was really interesting how each character's car was chosen and said something about them.
Yes.
And yeah, it is really unusual for a film from that time period to have a working woman who isn't, you have it all except love, but it's like you're not even all that fixated on it. It seems like you're really...
Like, I'm just like, well, you know.
Yeah.
It's not going to destroy me.
Yeah, you're not Bridget Jones. We have a lunchtime poll, which is just a question that we ask that's sort of related to the movie, and we really liked your pairing of your sad snack, we called it, of the Diet Coke and the Frusenglas.
Yes, that I have to say that was my idea. I should have the contradictory.
Yeah.
I love
the
that.
ice cream and Diet Coke.
I'll have the Diet Coke, which will help
the pint of ice cream, yeah.
with all the calories I'm ingesting with this thing. Susan was open for me to add things.
That's wonderful. Did you have input on your own clothing style?
To some degree, but I think that was Adele Lutz and Rudy Dillon, and all of us, I think, had the same point of view coming out of downtown New York. There's the new wave style was reminiscent of the 50s and 60s. One thing I did have an input on was getting Keith Haring to draw on the white pumps.
Oh my God, we loved your Keith Haring shoes.
Yes, I knew Keith, so
Oh,
he did
wow.
that as a favor to me,
Wow.
on the stipulation that I get the shoes after the shoot. So I still
Wow.
have them.
I was just going to ask, do you still have them? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, the Rolodex as a bracelet.
Yes. Love that.
That was my idea, and also picking up the arm and using it as a back scratcher.
That was hilarious. I love, it seemed like John Malkovich was buying a car on the computer.
Computer
so
shopping.
ahead of its time, you know?
Yes, well, because he was
so funny.
imbued with the highest IQ brain possible, I suppose. But yes, seeing the old computers,
Yeah.
you really feel old when you look at that stuff and you think, wow, this is like watching some movie from the 20s and seeing an old Model T or something.
But I thought it was really smart to have this sort of Art Deco version of the technology so that it kind of makes it timeless in a way, because things never really looked exactly like that. It's so heightened for the time period.
I said in the commentary that there really isn't a sense of the 80s with the big hair and everything until you get to the final scenes around the pool where the Hart Bachner character comes in, and he's a famous soap star, and the girls go wild, and the girls have teased up hair and outfits that are very 80s, but prior to that, none of the other characters, they do have a timelessness, or they live in their own kind of world, their own bubble that is the world of Chemtech and the Making Mr. Right world that is separate from the outside world in some respects.
I also have to say, I really love your line, I'm always late, but I'm worth it.
Yeah.
And that has sort of become a mantra of mine, because I'm always late. So I really love that.
Well, that was the screenwriters. I don't know which one wrote that one. Laurie Frank both of them had a very whip-smart sensibility. And Susan, it's to her credit that she welcomed that. She wanted that. It wasn't like any other movie that was out there at the time, and that probably was to its box office detriment, but whatever. I think it holds up now, and it's full of a lot of goodwill and charm, and I think the world could use more of that goodwill and charm. Now, we don't need another movie about serial killers. We don't need any more nihilism. You can get that on Twitter.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Even the appearance of Phil Donahue is...
Oh,
You probably don't even know who that is.
I remember him a little bit, yeah. Like, anytime Trish and Frankie are together is so funny. Yeah. And when they're fighting over the phone in the end is so funny. And I know I have some issues with John Malkovich in this movie, but his physical comedy is so fucking funny. Like, when the robot is first walking around and walking into walls.
It's great how he has to learn to do everything like a human child would.
You see, Miss Stone, programming the android takes him just so far. The rest must be learned, like a human child.
We had some difficulty with his gross motor functions before we modified his cerebral muscular coordination.
And then he's basically like walking like a toddler does. Yeah. Which is why I love when you see a toddler walking down the street, because they really do look so crazy. Yeah. They look like they're about to fall, and they do fall a lot.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the pouring and making a mess. Great physical acting.
Yeah.
And when he's going through her purse and, lights a cigarette and tries to, blow up the diaphragm thing.
Ugh,
and
yeah,
that was great. But it was pretty funny.
That's kind of also a time capsule. I don't think we used diaphragms for very long, did we?
I used one somewhere between Logan and Dash. Like, they're still around.
Oh, really?
They're such a fucking pain in the ass, though, yeah. There was a brief time where I was like, definitely didn't want to get pregnant at that time, and I think we tried like every kind of because I was breastfeeding, and the mini pill made me crazy, and I got a diaphragm for a little bit, and it's the worst. It's like so hard to get in there and get it out. And the good thing is you can put it in like earlier, you don't have to like stop. Let me go put my diaphragm in.
Okay.
I guess that's good. But it's like a big pain in the neck to use, and it's like not very effective. So it's like, why are we even still doing this at all?
Right.
But I guess just because like it's cheap, you just buy the one. And it's not hormonal or anything. It's not something that you have to get taken out like an IUD or something. I guess that's why they still exist, because how hard is it to still manufacture this little rubber disc thing?
Right.
It is not a good form of birth control.
It looks a little like a Diva cup.
Yeah,
kind
of.
Diva cups are just a little deeper.
Diva cup is way bigger, I would say, yeah.
I wonder if it's just as effective for birth control.
Yeah. Well, how are you going to have sex with a Diva cup in there? You cannot.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, she has a hairdryer in her purse, too.
Well, her hair is very styled.
It's so styled. My God, what do you call it in the back when it...
I don't know what that's called, but it's wild. My God.
It has a name when it comes together in the back.
I love it, though.
Like, how do you even do that on your own?
You're definitely asking the wrong person.
There's a scene where she's I think maybe she's going to the mall because she's like chasing Ulysses into the mall because he's escaped, and she passes the movie theater and it has the Parent Trap.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yes.
There was a switch in the
end. That. Oh, that's adorable, yeah.
And they use that same technology, obviously. The split screen.
And I was excited that he was going into the mall, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna use an escalator.
Yeah.
Because I like the escalator.
There's a lot of escalator action in this movie.
Well, there is a little bit in Desperately Seeking Susan, too. Like,
oh, yeah.
Remember, he's gonna leave her alone in the train station, and then he changes his mind, and he has to go up. He goes up the down escalator. There's a lot of wrong way. I wonder if that's like a signature director thing, like wrong way on the escalator.
Oh my gosh, that'd be worth looking into.
Yeah.
Seidelman signature.
Doesn't have that many movies, right?
She does a great escalator scene.
She does. She loves an escalator.
Do you remember an escalator in She-Devil?
I don't.
We're gonna have to dig into it.
There's something to this, I bet.
I also felt like this was a little bit some like a hot influence.
Ooh.
Yeah, like people pretending to be someone else, kind of, and then the way the guy like shook his maracas, and then just practically the last line is she tells him nobody's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Frankie. I always seem to fall apart at the wrong time.
That's okay, Ulysses. Nobody's perfect.
So I feel like that's not a coincidence.
Probably not.
I mean, it's such a famous ending of that movie.
That's true.
But you don't understand, Osgood. I'm a man. Well, nobody's perfect.
I like that.
And then that animal song, not the animals.
Oh, the turtles.
The turtles song.
Turtle. It's a turtle.
We went to the turtle's house.
I'm not very good with people.
That always makes me think of adaptation too.
Oh yeah.
That's such a great song.
Yeah.
It like pans up to the sky in Adaptation.
Maybe Adaptation had a little Making Mr. Right influence. I love that.
I do too.
Yeah, that's another like one actor, two roles. Oh my God, we are really onto something here. We got you, Charlie Kaufman.
Love the cars. I just love it. Oh, I love the Cadillac Eldorado. I love the Corvair. I even like Jeff's Volvo. It's not the best model Volvo, but it's really fun with the big front grille. Oh, I love vintage cars.
When we're talking about all the women's styling, also like Polly Bergen and the older ladies all have amazing style too. Like, they really did a good job of styling the women in this movie.
That pool party is so
my
hot.
God, yes.
The middle-aged lady pool party.
Yeah. Just the first scene with Polly Bergen when they're at the dress fitting and she has that like crazy gold top on.
Yeah.
Has so many little gold pieces on it.
Yeah.
Love her.
And I love the wedding dress that Ivy's getting too, and I love her purple eyebrows. I was like, shit, I need purple eyebrows. Her hair is really cool, the way it's put up. It's like 3 ponytails in the back that kind of look like a mohawk that go down.
Ooh, a pony hawk.
A pony hawk.
Oh, I liked her hair, like a lilac-y kind of color. It's really pretty.
Yeah, I like that, it was like the cool sisters, you know.
Yes.
They were both so cool. That they were friends too, I like that, you know. It wasn't like my weird little sister or something.
Totally. Like, it seemed like they were pretty close. Like,
Yeah.
as the 3 of them were pretty close. They don't say what happened to the dad, but it seemed like it must have been a deadbeat.
Right.
He's not giving away Ivy.
The computer shopping, that was really like what? He bought a car?
He just
like
buy
on the
a
computer?
Car on the
Like,
computer.
That was
I'm
so
just
funny.
like, how is he doing
That
this?
was definitely not, I don't think that was a thing in 1987 that you could...
Did Jeff Bezos watch this movie and go,
right?
what a great idea. Computer shopping.
Computer shopping. I love that the wedding party gets photographed and they're like on a beautiful South Florida beach, but they're using a backdrop of a beach.
That was so funny.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's gotta be some kind of commentary. The montage of everybody with the Ulysses cutout. Lots of cutouts. The cutout of Steve at the beginning. That New Jersey soap is really funny.
Yeah.
New Jersey continues.
Why are you watching this idiotic show?
Because Don gets punched at least once every episode, and I like watching that.
You couldn't live without me.
Kill him.
Why? Because you're weak.
Oh my God, she's killing him. Don't worry, nobody ever dies on these shows. He's dead! Unless they're canceling his contract.
Deader than a doornail.
Does that track with that line reading? He's deader than a doornail.
No, I didn't know what she was trying to do. That did not seem very,
That's not New Jersey.
I would
Doesn't
say
read
no.
New Jersey for you.
Not for me.
You would know.
I like the vibrating bed. Like, I've never seen one of those, but I remember seeing those in lots of movies in the 80s.
They were in so many movies in the 80s.
And they never look appealing. Like, they always, like, are jostling violently.
I was saying, you see, a black hole is so dense that its gravity actually sucks in light.
Its gravity actually sucks in light. Mm-hmm. I still don't understand.
They're always in the shittiest bed, too. It's like, an uncomfortable bed that's jiggling a lot.
That's where I've seen them, is in a by-the-hour hotel.
Right,
motel.
yeah.
Is it just to be noisy so that you can drown out what sounds you're making? It's so weird.
I think it's supposed to feel like a massage or something.
Oh, and she's massaging him
she's
on
like
the massage
very
head,
aggressively.
Very vigorously.
Yeah.
Really funny foreplay from Trish.
Trish is just so wild.
I do absolutely love Glenn Headley's kind of realistic acting to thinking she killed Ulysses, and then also how long it takes for Frankie to explain, no, you didn't kill him, he's a robot.
Trish! He was so giving, so compassionate. He had such a wonderful understanding of a woman's heart, and now he's dead.
Trish, calm down. Now, what happened?
I couldn't help it. It was the way he looked at me. He was so beautiful. And all of a sudden, we were in each other's arms, and we were making
do that? With you?
Why shouldn't he do that with me?
Oh, Trish! Damn it, did you show him how?
This is getting a little sick, don't you think? Your cousin is dead on the kitchen floor. He was on top of me, inside me, and then he just started going crazy. His head started twisting up. He died.
Trish, just help me get his head off, would you?
Oh, my God, what are you talking about?
Listen, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you didn't make love to my cousin. You just made it with my android.
You were what?
And then when she realized, she's just like, ew. She's so funny.
But I love how completely distraught she is for the longest time.
Right.
Like, she really thinks that there's a dead man in the kitchen. It's almost not played for laughs.
Dead
really.
from his head just spinning around or something.
I do love that hairy prosthetic ass that's sticking out of his pants.
Right.
I've already started underlining meaningful passages in her copy of Moby Dick, if you know what I mean.
Every Anne Magnuson line is so great because she has the cutest voice. It's
She
like
does have a
such
good
a wonderful old Hollywood style voice. I mean, is it her first line? No, because she talks to Sia, which is, "Sir, chill out."
Sir, chill out.
I love when she goes into the conference room and it's full of businessmen and she's like, I'm always late, but I'm worth it.
Yeah.
Sorry, gentlemen, to keep you waiting. I'm always late, but I'm worth it.
That was awesome.
That's a great mission statement.
I like the exchange between the sister and the mom when she says shaving such a bourgeois concept and she says marriage is a bourgeois concept.
You are going to shave those before the wedding.
Hector likes me like this. Shaving's such a bourgeois concept, Mom.
Marriage is a bourgeois concept, Ivy. How come I can't talk you out of that?
I feel like touche, Mom. Right?
Totally. That's a very good point.
Oh, and then when her assistant kind of screws her over and she says, I wish you all the success you deserve.
Frankie, I'm super sorry that I didn't call you. But after all, this is my big shot, you know?
Yeah, I'm not all that large, Sus. But I'm happy for you, really. I wish you all the success you deserve.
Like,
Ooh, yeah.
Very nice.
I think what happened to your lip is a really great way to ask about a mustache.
What happened to your lip?
It's a mustache. I felt that it would make me look more mature. Voters like that.
Well, I'm a voter, Steve.
And it's like a pretty bad mustache.
Yeah.
She's wanting to take Jeff to the wedding and he's like, I'm not good with people. She's like,
I have to go to this wedding, and I need a date, and you'd be the exact perfect guy. Now, this isn't a proposition. I just want to know if you might think about maybe going with me.
A wedding? I don't know. I'm not very good with people.
Oh, they're not people. They're just my family.
I thought that was hilarious.
I really like at the wedding when she says, I didn't know Babalu was our song.
Do you mind if I cut in? This is our song.
I think that would be a good idea.
I didn't know Babalu was our song, Steve.
Oh, Frankie.
And then also when the tuck shop guy says, is it congenital or contagious? And she just says drugs.
No, take the jumpsuit off first.
Is it congenital or contagious?
Drugs.
Uh-huh.
So funny. And like really smart too. She thinks on her feet. Because I feel like that's the most believable of the situations.
Right.
Would you believe robot? Not when he walks out with a full uncircumcised penis, apparently.
Right.
Well, see, I just don't understand why Jeff felt it was necessary to give you that, thing.
Jeff felt it would give me confidence.
I like one of Ulysses. 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 But Jeff, what about babies? Can I have one?
Can I have a baby?
I love that.
But Jeff, what about babies? Can I have one?
Just pick one up.
I feel like that's something you would ask.
Can I have a baby? Logan and I were somewhere and someone walked by with a baby and I was like, they didn't let me hold it.
The extras, like there's a lot of great background
gosh,
acting.
yeah.
How much of this was shot like guerrilla style and how much of those people like were hired? I don't know. Like I love those kids on the news. I feel like they might have just been walking by.
Well, like,
broadcast
in one of the scenes that Steve, right?
Mhm.
Is the politician.
Yeah.
Okay. Where it's like campaign headquarters and there's volunteers, and like one of them is like wearing a leather miniskirt. People have so much style just in the background. Like the lady who jumps into the pool in all black. Yeah. Like
There's some
these
other
just
really
extras.
cool person just at the wedding too that like looks like they came from a punk rock show to go to this wedding.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems like Miami is kind of like the New York of... Not like New York, but it's the closest thing in
It's the fashion
Florida.
capital.
Yeah, it's like a fashion capital.
That sounds right. There's like a lot of money in Miami, right?
Yeah, I think there's fashion down there and models and stuff like that. I don't know. It's definitely more stylish than anywhere else in Florida, I'd say.
And Making Mr. Right is something that I know Susan said she wanted to do something quite different.
Mhm.
And going to Miami and kind of playing with this retro futurism
Mm.
vibe,
Right.
space travel and robots and creating a romantic comedy in that environment. It's a nice change of pace. And a lot of it was dictated by the screenwriters, Laurie Frank and Floyd Byers. But I'd found out through the commentary I did with Susan that it was her idea. It was originally set in New York or somewhere like that, and she wanted to shoot in Miami. And it was great to be down there. I had never been to Miami. And we shot in 1986, and nobody had discovered Miami at that point. So it was really cool. It was skanky in parts, certainly on South Beach, but you still had all the old Jewish folks who had retired down there were still there. All of the deco buildings were completely intact. They were a little worse for wear, and there was a lot of crime, of course, but all the architecture was exactly as it was. There was no monetizing of Miami by the Europeans or by any of the entrepreneurs. So capitalism had taken a holiday from from Miami, and when capitalism takes a holiday, it's a great environment for creativity.
Wow, that's such a full quote right there.
Yeah. And I loved all the 60s buildings, the Fontainebleau, the Eden Rock. Miami in the 60s, the 50s and 60s was the happening place. That was all gone, but the buildings were still there and everything was intact. It hadn't been changed. I mean, it's all been ruined, I'm sure, and turned into like fake mid-century modern oligarch crap, you know. I haven't been there in a while, but I loved it, and that incredible color of the ocean. Very much like, you know, in the movie Midnight Cowboy, when he's daydreaming about going to Miami, and at the end they finally get there. It was like that.
Wow.
It was a dream. I was having my own sort of Midnight Cowboy experience because I was going from this harshness of downtown New York into this bright sunlight and these beautiful deco buildings. And my grandmother, one of her favorite TV shows was the Jackie Gleason Show, which shot in Miami Beach. So growing up as a kid, I watched Miami in its heyday, you know, being televised, this show being televised. The best part about being in show business is you get to have these adventures and you get to go to different places and meet new people. That's my favorite part about it. And Susan brought in great designers. Barbara Ling did the production design. Ed Lockman is an incredible DP. Oh, it's so great to watch a movie where everything's lit beautifully.
Yeah.
And it's not in all these horrible dark shadows. Everything is so darkly lit now.
Right, oh god. That's
true, yeah.
Oh my god, that's always my complaint.
I grew up in Florida and I really loved seeing Miami portrayed in the movie. And it just like the bright sunlight, and I mean the sun is just like relentless in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
It was really wonderful until the shoot went a little bit longer than expected. Of course, they generally do. But boy, once we started to get into June and that humidity came in,
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was going to die, but we finished it and moved on. But I loved going there. I was there for 3 months and stayed in the hotel they put me up in. I didn't leave. So when I came back to New York, boy, that was a bit of a rude awakening.
Yeah.
I also like Trish when she said, "Oh my God, they're Frenching."
Oh my God, they're Frenching. This is network TV and they're using tongues.
That's gotta be against some rule.
On broadcast TV.
Every line reading from her was amazing.
Yeah.
I like the way Susie says when she won't stop working at the wedding, and she's like, these people are really interested in Nicaragua and all the issues and things. Also a really good Trish line. You're having a nervous breakdown. I have those all the time.
Trish, what's wrong with me?
You're having a nervous breakdown. I have those all the time.
And when she's flirting, and all the flirting and the food, and she's like...
I had a dream about space the other day. I was traveling far, far out into another galaxy, and I had this strange sensation that space was folding in on itself, like it was curved or something, folding in on itself.
That's amazing. That's what does happen. Space is curved.
Really?
Yes. You see, if this is our galaxy, and these represent the other known
Is
galaxies.
that a memento? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I destroying distant worlds?
No, that's okay.
Am I destroying? Yeah, I wrote that down.
Oh, that was great.
World. She's practically Beavis and Butthead with the black hole thing.
That's a black hole.
A black hole.
It's like you said hole.
A space invader with an itch.
You have such great chemistry with Glenn Headley in the movie. Can you talk about working with her?
Glenn and John were very successful in New York theater, and they come from Chicago. Steppenwolf, highly, highly successful and critically acclaimed. And I could see them holding their own with all those people at the cocktail party in All About Eve. So I think Glenn was suspicious of my standing as a quote-unquote performance artist, but I tried to tell her right away, oh, that's just a word. It's convenient to get you to a festival in Italy, which I'd been at, and perform in Japan, which I'd just done, and to me it was all theater. And I had to do a little bit of work to just let her know that I wasn't going to be a threat, and we're all in this together, and let's just have fun. So I would let her be the queen bee and let her teach me how to give myself a manicure, even though I knew how to do that. And kind of let her be the dominant force, and then it all went very well. And she was really very good at playing the scout leader. She liked to go on these field trips that I couldn't always go on, but she explored the area around Miami like nobody's business. They were always going to some tourist place, or I remember we all went to go scuba diving at Key Largo, and Susan Berman and I got sunscreen in our eyes, blinded for like hours.
Oh, that's the worst.
We thought Key Largo was going to be this, I think everybody thought it was going to be this romantic thing because of the movie with Bogart and Bacall, and it was just a hideous. Glenn also wanted to go to Six Flags Atlantis, one of those crazy water parks. And her and me and Hart Bachner, I think, and there might have been one other person, were the only other people around at the time or would even want to go and do that. And I nearly drowned in the wave pool.
Oh, gosh.
I've never been in a wave pool before, and I swear to God, I nearly drowned in it.
Wow.
We're so glad
I know.
play along to like, okay, we're all in this together, right? I don't want to go to Six Flags Atlantis.
God, yeah.
I mean, that's sort of a doomsday name for a theme park. Atlantis.
Yeah.
It's, Neptune, and it's aquatic. I think because Glenn and John were coming from such a highfalutin, critical acclaim theater world, I don't think they quite understood the breadth of my experience doing theater and doing alternative theater and how that was just as legitimate. So sadly, I feel like I did diminish myself in order to gain their approval because I wanted us to all get along. Because I really thought, you know what, we're supposed to be best friends. Let's be best friends, let's, yeah. And she was great in that part. I guess you could say she steals the film away from everybody, but she was perfect for that part, much better than I would have been.
It's a testament to your acting because you just seem like besties in your scenes together. They're so funny. Like, we watched it when you two were fighting over the phone. We were just cracking up.
I had a good time with everybody. It had a kind of a bit of a summer camp vibe because people would come and go depending on when they were needed to shoot. And the people who would be there on the weekend, I was busy. I I was shot almost every day, so I didn't have a lot of free time, and there were weekends. So you would go out with groups. Glenn was really interested in bingo. There was a bingo thing in a huge warehouse. But, whatever you can establish in real life and bring into the scene, if it makes the scene work better, then do it. We ended up getting along really well, and I was like, yes, it does show on the screen. And she was an incredible actress. She really was. Really top talent.
I just kept thinking wearing pantyhose in Florida and wearing all those jackets would be so hot.
Oh, yeah.
But they were really cool. All of her looks were just so awesome. Her character just seems to just throw her clothes on and just run around.
Right.
And she looks so polished and good,
She has like a dry cleaning bag in the back in a pile of chicken boxes. Yeah, how does she not have grease stains on anything?
Yeah, she's skilled, I guess. Yeah. Well, I like the don't flatter yourself, I hate men. I don't know, I just really like that one.
I really like it too, and I feel like it is like kind of the mission statement. Like, there aren't any good men. The only good man is an artificial man.
You gotta make one.
Is
What else does a suicide need, huh? Now, if you'll excuse me.
We did the commentary for the film, and then Susan and I separately do on-camera interviews where we're answering questions about the movie. And one of the questions was, did you see any signs of sexism on the set? And I think when one does these things, you just automatically get into a vibe where you're not going to really say anything that's going to rock the boat.
Yeah. Right.
So I said, no, not really. But there was,
Of course,
I thought about it late, and it wasn't specific to that movie set. It's not specific to that movie. It's a more complicated answer. You don't want to delve into that on that kind of platform because they don't give you enough time. This is why talk shows, I never liked doing them. It's just shtick, and you can't really have in-depth conversations about things because they want you to say everything like Twitter now, or they, like say it in 2 sentences, get a laugh, and move on to the next thing. It's like, ugh.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Press your space face close to my love.
So this is what's called a lunchtime poll.
So the lunchtime poll question is, what is your sad snack? Akin to her having her Fruzenglage and Diet Coke when she's sad. She has it twice.
Yeah.
So it does seem like her go-to.
Well, I like dark chocolate, and sometimes I keep it in the freezer, and I do really love ice cream, too.
I used to be really into ice cream, but now I can't do it anymore because of my stupid old tummy. So I like to do a double whammy of salty and sweet. Lately, I've been kind of into either like the Tim's Cascade Sasquatch Surprise and Cadbury chocolate.
Ooh.
Oh.
Or last night I had Hippies. Have you had those? They're like chickpea Cheetos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've seen those, but I haven't had them. Are they pretty good?
I really like them. I like any sort of cheese dust. Any flavor dust, really. If there's dust on a crunchy thing. So, sweet and salty, back and forth, until I die.
Aren't they selling like Cheetos sprinkles or flavoring? Or...
Really? Like
I thought I
just the
saw
dust?
that. I don't know.
Smart.
Maybe it's not real. I don't know.
Maybe it is real.
Maybe it is.
It'd be really good on popcorn.
I mean, I have lots of snacks that I like, but if we're talking about sad snacking, like when I am sad, tragically, I don't snack at all. Last time I had a sad period was September of, not last year, but the year before, and I felt like I had really failed at some point because I was like so sad and did not want to put anything in my mouth. And I'm like, I have no vices, but if I'm like really sad, I have no appetite. It's that. I mean, I guess there's worse things, but... So I don't have a sad snack because if I'm sad, my body's just like, don't put anything in here.
Yeah. That's really sad.
Aww. Well, I mean, I eat snacks. I have happy snacks. I don't know. I eat a lot of nuts.
Yes. Nuts are fucking great.
Yeah.
I was just listening to maybe it was an ad for almonds, I don't know, but it was basically like, almonds are so good for you. Here's all the reasons a handful of almonds are great for you. And I was like, thank God, because I eat several handfuls of almonds every day. Yeah. I actually had to Google if I could eat too many almonds, if that was a thing.
Oh.
I was just like, can you eat too many almonds? And you can, but it's so many.
Yeah, you would have to eat.
So I was really relieved.
How very.
To make your laser ray gun twitch.
Do you have a dream project or a character type that you'd want to revisit?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm in the midst of trying to put together a sequel to a video I did in 1984 called Made for TV, where I played a variety of female characters all in the course of a day of television programming. It was very specific to 1984, and I want to do a sequel, Made for TV 2, Old Lady, all older women. So explore older women and their experiences and what it feels like to age and embrace that. How does the culture embrace or not embrace it? Usually not embrace it. Mm-hmm. And where do we go from here? You know, I don't know how much time is left for me, and I want to make the most of it, which means I want to pick and choose what I do, put my energy into, because doing movies and TV is very stressful. And if you don't have much control over it, and they're not paying you very much, it doesn't seem worthwhile to do. I've been doing more visual art and doing more music. In a way, I'm sort of going back to who I was when I first got to New York and found this great community of like-minded souls, and we just took any idea that we had and manifested it into reality and had a good time doing it and formed a community of love and respect and enthusiasm and got the bliss chemicals going in the brain and spread joy. It's all about making us feel better about being alive. There's just so much out there that's negative, and
yeah,
it's good to put out positive vibes. I think that Making Mr. Right puts out a lot of positive vibes.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that I've got to be in something that puts out some positive vibes. We don't need any more negative vibes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, this was amazing talking to you.
Oh, good. Well, I know I'm a talker, so...
You just have such a lovely voice, too, so it's massaging our ears.
Oh, that's nice. Years ago, I had a voiceover agent, and you have to go through the same grinder to try to get those parts. It's like, no. I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting for this. Somebody wants me. That my contact information is on the website. You can find me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So show me that you really care and make me jump into the air.
You can learn more about Ann Magnuson via her Instagram at annmagnuson.official and her website, annmagnuson.com. If you enjoyed this episode of Paid in Puke, please take a minute to rate us highly on your preferred podcast listening apparatus. If you did not enjoy this episode, no further action is necessary. Paid in Puke is hosted by Annie Malone, Christina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. Music by Silent Partner. Additional music by Ann Magnuson. Follow us on Twitter at Paid in Puke Pod, on Instagram at Paid in Puke Seattle, and on Facebook at Paid in Puke Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Lick it up, baby. Lick it up.